Have you ever been in a conversation before and felt like you missed some details or there was some miscommunication? Well, today's a great day to start learning about body language and how to read it and why it's so important. When you're trying to figure out what is really going on in a conversation, you may want to turn to reading body language. Now, what is reading body language? Like, what really is going on? Well, there are messages that are organized and thought of and then delivered through talking. But all that talking that doesn't get said ends up coming out through the movements in a person's body language. So body language is really the watching and viewing of a person's movements. Now, how do you interpret all those type of movements? And how do you pay attention to all the movements and listen to a person? Well, it does take some practice. But just so you know that not all communication comes through words in the form of language. There's a lot of parts that are left out in that conversation that you're going to want to look for in their movements. Now, when you're looking at body language and you're referring to look at it and try to decipher it, some things that happen, some different things that happen during body language is body language can confirm what they're saying. It also can clarify what they're saying. It also, body language can contradict what they're saying. And also, reading body language could help you have a more clear message. Now, here's an example of contradiction. What if I did this? Wow, I sure love you. That doesn't look like love you. But I said I love you, but I punched my hand like this. Now that would be an example of contradiction, meaning what I said and what I did not match. What if I did this? Wow, I love you. And I point to my heart. Well, you would be looking at me and listening to me. And if both those messages matched, you would then accept that message. But if I say I love you and I punched my hand like this, you would sense that something's off in the message. Most people rely on what people say. But if we begin to look for other movements happening on a person to see if they match or not match, it would actually give us an opportunity to ask some clarifying questions. So if I did this move and I said, I love you, you actually in that moment would probably need some clarification. And you may pose the question of like, do you really love me? Because I'm not quite sure. And in that moment, because you were reading body language, you could give that person a chance to explain themselves so that you can get clear on the message that they were sending. Now, here are some body language moves you may want to pay attention to while you're talking to another individual. If you and I were having a conversation, and during the conversation, I reached up and scratched my ear, that is telling you that I'm having a tough time understanding what you're talking about. Because I'm touching my ear, it indicates my ability to listen and understand you is kind of struggling. But that's just me reaching up and touching my ear. I probably would never tell you that, but if I think the thought, wow, this is kind of tough to understand, I'm not quite sure what this all means. If I think the thought, it could cause me to actually just reach up and touch my ear. And that's what non-verbal communication is I thought it, but I didn't say it. And because I thought it, I still did this move that indicated to you that's what I was thinking. Now, if I reach up and I touch my fingers and over my mouth, or I cover my mouth a little bit, and we're having a conversation and you're talking and I cover my mouth up, by me covering up my mouth, it tells you I have something I want to say. Even though I didn't say it to you, again, it's a non-verbal message. So this is what it would look like. You're talking, and during the conversation, I reach up and do this. It's as though I'm putting my hand over my mouth because the words are about ready to just come out of my mouth, but I'm holding my words back because you're still talking. But because you see this message of me holding my hand over my mouth, you can pick up on that nonverbal cue and realize, wow, Kirk's got something on his mind right now he wants to say. And you could stop talking and ask me if I have something to share. In fact, this that I'm showing you right here is a big problem amongst husbands and wives. When in a married couple, what happens between the husband and wife is one of them will be talking and the other one will do this nonverbal cue, but the other one doesn't even see it. And so they just keep talking and talking and talking. And then the spouse starts to feel like they're not appreciated because they are not being noticed and they're not able to talk. But they gave you the message, right? They covered up their mouth. So as a married couple, or dating, if you're with somebody and you see them go to, kind of cover up their mouth a little bit, stop talking and ask them what they have to share with you. That's a game changer when it comes to relationships. Now, let's say you're in a conversation and a person reaches up and they rub their neck. During the conversation, while you're talking, they rub their neck. That could be an indicator that they are having a tough time seeing your point of view. Because you have a particular point of view, they have a particular point of view. And the muscles in their neck tighten up when you and your point of view is trying to turn their point of view, turn their head or turn their point of view, their muscles will tighten up as though for them to hold to their own point of view. Their muscles tighten up. And so you'll know that their muscles are tightening up because they reach up to rub their neck. Wow, now you know that there's a little bit of conflict in what you're saying and what they are thinking. And it gives you that insight to open up your mouth and ask for some conversation to happen, to clarify what's happening between the two of you. Reading body language helps you to be able to see literally how the other person is thinking and see how they're responding to what it is you're saying. Now you would know this one. You walk up and you're having a conversation with a person, and during the conversation, they literally fold their arms in front of you, pretty tight like this, their hands are literally tucked under their hands. What does that mean? Does it mean that this person is closed? Does it mean that they're shutting down the conversation? Well, the way in which you interpret this could mean that you're on or you're off in this particular point. Now, when somebody goes to fold their arms like this during a conversation, if their hands are loosely tucked under their arms, they're thinking. This is a thinking position. But if their hands are tucked underneath, really tight underneath their arms, it means that they don't agree with what's happening in the conversation. So loose hands like this, they're just in thinking mode. They're in listening, thinking mode. But if their hands are tight underneath, then they are in a way cutting you off and they're kind of blocking themselves from the conversation that's happening. But please don't misinterpret that move. Too many people see somebody put their hands under their arms like this and they think it immediately means that they're shutting people down or blocking people from the conversation. But you want to see how their hands are. Especially if their thumbs are all poking out like this, they're totally still in the conversation. Even if their hands like this, or like this. And when they're more relaxed like that, they're just listening. Don't misread that one at all. Don't misread that. Another part about reading body language that is very, very helpful is to literally study your own body language. When you're with other people, and notice what you do during the conversation. Notice when you scratch your eye or scratch your ear or touch your jaw, or maybe when you touch your nose. Notice what you're thinking in those moments, because when you study your body language, you begin to learn other people's body language, because we're all similar in how we communicate in this nonverbal language. And that has literally helped me the most about understanding your body language and other people's body language, is while I'm in a discussion with somebody and talking to them, if I do something weird like scratch my ear, touch my nose, touch my chin, or rub my shoulder, rub my neck, I pause for a moment and go, okay, what was I thinking? What caused me to do that? What did they say that caused me to do that? And just to take a little bit of an insight there and to look at what you're doing can give you some big insight why other people do this. And if you want to learn more about the body language and about how to read it, stay connected to us here on this YouTube channel. And also, come attend some of our courses. You would love this. But here's my last suggestion for you when it comes to reading body language. Not everyone tells the full story. There are parts of the story that are left out. And reading body language is a form of communication. And it could help you understand the missing parts in that communication. And to me, when you can communicate better, I believe relationships can be better. And that's why you want to continue your education about body language. Did you love that? Just that little bit of insight there about body language? Well, click the link below and check out my training class called Master Your Influence, where we can go through a lot deeper understanding about how to read body language and to be able to understand what is going on in these conversations. So click the link below and check out my course called Master Your Influence. While you're here, click subscribe so that you can receive all the great training videos that I have for you.